Yo guys, welcome to the stream. Game starts in 10 minutes, so I'm gonna show you the lineups and stuff. Hopefully, because commentary isn't working at the moment because it's not the start of the game yet, but hopefully once the game starts, the commentary should be starting. So I'm just gonna start. Wait, the rotations. Actually, no, I can do that. Why is the rotation? For some reason rotation is not. I guess I have to do that. We refresh that, it should have the thing up now. 1k views on the yesterday's stream, hopefully we get something like that again. That is actually quite bad, just because the rotation thing's locked. But I will show the lineups now. So lineup for Sunderland: McLaughlin in goal, Lowe, Luvens, Ozturk, Matthews, O'Neill, Mamba, Honeyman, Gooch, Maguire and Maja. On the subs for Sunderland: Oviedo, Baldwin, Sinclair, Ruta, Embleton, Hume and Molyneux. Don't know half them players because I'm not a League One fan. Charlton lineup: Phillips in goal, Marshall, Boer, Page, Solly, Pratley, Pearce, and Grant, don't know who he is, Arabo, Taylor and Lapsley. Substitutes, they only have 5 at the moment for some reason, but Joe, Sarr, Maynard, Brewer, Maloney and Hackett, Fairchild. Those are the lineups. And Bletton played for under 19. Yeah, I didn't watch that. I watched the under 20 World Cup final. Honeyman is, yeah, I've heard of Honeyman, he's pretty good. I've heard of Gooch. I've heard of a few Sunderland players because they're in the Premier League a couple seasons ago. But 8 minutes to the game starts, so if you're wondering why there isn't any commentary, it's because the game hasn't started yet. Brian Oviedo, yeah, I've heard of him. He used to play for Everton. That couple seasons ago, they moved to Sunderland. Surprised he's not starting. Don't know who they've got at fullbacks or if they're playing 3 centre backs or so. But I'm surprised he's not starting because I think he's actually quite good. I honestly think both these teams could go up. I think Charlton may reach the playoff final. I think Sunderland will get through in like 2nd place. I don't know. I think it'll be Barnsley will probably win the league. Then it'll be Sunderland. Then like Burton, Portsmouth, Plymouth. Maybe getting in the playoffs. I think it'll be Portsmouth and Charlton in the playoff final. I don't know who would win because obviously January transfer window and stuff. So I'm just gonna go on the thing. Hopefully commentary works because it is a League One game. The commentary may not work, but I don't know. Has it got commentary? We refresh this page. Sunderland v Charlton. Yeah, commentary doesn't work at the moment. Well, let me reload this and then. Will that work? Live stream available. It says commentary at the top, but it doesn't on my phone. So I might have to do that. Live audio commentary. That's what I want, but yesterday it said you need to install Flash Player, which I tried yesterday, but I installed it, but it didn't work. Let's refresh the app. Oh, there we go, that's what I wanted. Commentary, can't see it. If I install the actual app, maybe it'll work. And then we've got 4 minutes to suss it out. And if we can't, then I'll just try the commentary up here, and if it doesn't work. Yeah, maybe commentary started. Yeah, that's what I think. Commentary may start. Kick on. Yesterday I tried the Derby Reading, and it took me to like the 40th minute to figure out the commentary. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Hopefully I can figure out straight away. It's not coming out with commentary on the phone like yesterday. I guess we'll wait for 4 minutes and then it should start. And then I'm just gonna keep refreshing the app every like minute. TalkSport app on there. Thank you, I'll quickly download it. Right, I'm just downloading that app now. Hopefully that works. It's got the volume thing here. I don't know if that's commentary or just... I'll refresh this again. Yeah, it tells me to install Flash Player. That's exactly what happened yesterday. So maybe if it's showing the commentary up there, it may work on the app. We can't seem to find what you're looking. Like, TalkSport doesn't work for some reason. I'll try this again. Oh, here we go. I think I've got it.
Charlton looking to improve on last season's finish. They, of course, knocked out in the playoffs under Lee Bowyer. They go with Phillips, Page, Bauer, Pierce, Solly, Pratley, Ahern, Grant, Marshall, Aribo, Lapsley and Taylor. Kick-off fast approaching for the League One opener between Sunderland and Charlton at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland, plenty of upheaval for them after their relegation from the Championship, and Jack Norris charged with the task of leading them straight back to England's Tier 2 football. Their lineup today is McLaughlin, Love, Louvens, Oster, Matthews, O'Nien, Mumba, Honeyman, Gooch, Maha and Maguire. While Charlton looking to improve on last season's finish. They, of course, knocked out in the playoffs under Lee Bowyer. They go with Phillips, Page, Bauer, Pierce, Solly, Pratley, Ahern, Grant, Marshall, Aribo, Lapsley and Taylor. Kick-off fast approaching for the League One opener between Sunderland and Charlton at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland, plenty of upheaval for them after their relegation from the Championship, and Jack Norris charged with the task of leading them straight back to England's Tier 2 football. Their lineup today is McLaughlin, Love, Louvens, Oster, Matthews, O'Nien, Mumba, Honeyman, Gooch, Maha and Maguire. While Charlton looking to improve on last season's finish. They, of course, knocked out in the playoffs under Lee Bowyer. They go with Phillips, Page, Bauer, Pierce, Solly, Pratley, Ahern, Grant, Marshall, Aribo, Lapsley and Taylor. Kick-off fast approaching. Well, a warm welcome along to our coverage then of this League One opener, and Sunderland against Charlton at the Stadium of Light. Mumba making his first career start for Sunderland. Obviously, new faces around the club as well following their relegation. Jack Norris is the man in charge. Jack Ross, I beg your pardon, is the man in charge. And I suppose expectations will be higher this season. Yes, they weren't particularly great last term, but I mean, it wasn't so long ago they were a Premier League club. They're now in League One. Surely they've got to be targeting the title, at least promotion.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there, Rob. Fresh start, like you say, new manager, a bit of an unknown quantity, isn't he, down? He had a good spell, though, with St Mirren, guiding them to Championship glory last term. Took the gamble, really, of joining the Mackems at the Stadium of Light, but I think that's what they needed, a fresh start after a few safe names, should we say, in the dugout that hasn't quite worked out. Needed a bit of a reshuffle, and well, first time they've played in the third tier for 30 years, Sunderland, and they'll be looking to dominate the division, I think.
Yeah, match is now underway with Sunderland launching it downfield. One in the air, though, by Bauer, and played back into the Sunderland half. No Charlton players threatening that ball. It's bouncing around a little bit, frenetic opening few seconds as Taylor tries to get it under control, but rides a challenge. That is brought down, but he still feeds it through. A little back heel saw, I think it was Lapsley getting away, but the referee had already blown his whistle as Honeyman was penalised for the challenge. And the referee, John Brooks, by the way, is just having an early word with the Sunderland skipper. Nice play in the centre circle from Charlton there. They've got the first free kick. Obviously, it's not in a particularly threatening area. It's almost on the centre spot. But quite a frenetic opening 60 seconds or so. It's played in towards the box. It's too deep. Nobody's really challenging. The ball is going to trickle eventually behind as Love turns. He probably got the shout from Louvens there, suggesting that nobody was threatening him, and that's a pretty poor first free kick.
Yeah, very disappointing start, wasn't it? By first real opportunity for the Addicts. You mentioned Glenn Louvens there. Good experienced player to bring in from Sheffield Wednesday. Seen it all before, hasn't he? John McLaughlin, a former Hearts man, former Bradford City, with a poor goal kick on his first competitive start for Sunderland. Jack Ross barking out the orders. I imagine he'll be wanting his side to play attractive football. St Mirren were a good team in the Championship last term, and well, they're trying to play out from the back here.
Yeah, Mumba under a little bit of pressure from Marshall, but he's in fact dispossessed at the last. Now charging forward goes Aribo. He's again just nudged over by a Honeyman who's already been spoken to by the referee. Escaped with a yellow card. Without a yellow card, this one is a lot more dangerous. There's a bit of pace injected, and it's kind of obstruction as much as anything. But having just been spoken to, Honeyman might be well. The next challenge might well be going into it. But this is a much more dangerous free kick for Charlton. Maybe 25, 30 yards out. I think it's more than that. And Lyle Taylor it is who's standing over it. Very central position as McLaughlin is trying to get his wall right. Looking at the wall, it's certainly an option to go either side. It's not quite covering the post. Right foot to bending it in. Taylor goes for goal. He's actually gone the other side, the keeper's side. It's too high and it's over the bar. But promising start for Sunderland, for Charlton.
Yeah, they seem to be dominating the ball. It's not the best effort, was it, by Taylor, recent arrival from Wimbledon, but he's got potential as Lyle Taylor. Spoke to Sunderland actually before joining Charlton in the summer, wanting to stay in South London, you feel. But good start by Charlton, and the changes made by Sunderland maybe still getting the rhythm bending in a bit.
Yeah, launched down the field towards Mahat, and he's beaten in the air, but the loose ball is picked up by Gooch, who's making good ground down the left-hand side. Finds Maguire. In support is Matthews. Charlton have got plenty behind the ball now. A little bit of momentum lost, but they're trying to work it down that left-hand side. And it's with Gooch, who's been stood up by Solly. Onto his right foot. Doesn't want to cross, though. Low ball into the box eventually from Matthews. Easily dealt with, although the clearance has only gone straight back to Gooch, who gets a left-footed cross in. Blocked at source. Goes behind. And this will be Sunderland's first corner. Not too good, the two free kicks that Charlton had. Obviously, one was a direct effort at goal. And Sunderland will be hoping to threaten at least from this set piece. Plenty around the near post. So that's clearly a plan that they've worked out, and in fact it's crossed deep towards the far post, and Dylan Phillips backpedaling is able to flick it away. There's only one Sunderland player at the back post, hoping to ghost in unmarked. He'd run from the near post. Good little move there actually, but ultimately dealt with just to throw it.
Yeah, Charlton almost caught ball watching. It was a good play by Luke O'Neill coming round the back there. He wasn't at the near post, like upstairs. He peeled right round the back. No one followed him at all, and it would have been a free header, but well played by the goalkeeper, just clawing it away, doing all he could, but definitely a set-piece move for the Black Cats.
Yeah, let's launch quickly down the other end, and Louvens puts the ball into touch for a Charlton throw on the halfway line, right-hand side. Louvens has some arrival on a free from Sheffield Wednesday. He looks to get Sunderland back at least into the second tier of English football at the first time of asking. A couple of seasons ago, of course, they were in the top flight, not playing particularly well in that top flight, but it's something of a fall from grace for the Black Cats as Charlton trying to apply some pressure again. They've only really had to withstand that corner, which was actually fairly threatening from a Black Cats viewpoint, but Charlton have arguably looked the better of the two in these opening 5.5 minutes. And here they come again. A Hearn Grant in towards Lapsley, brought down right at the edge of the box. The referee is going to give a free kick. This time the challenge comes from Ozturk. Just wrong-footed in, brought down. I don't think he's really got a case for his defence, and another dangerous free kick.
Yeah, Rebo was the architect there, wasn't he? Showed a good, clean pair of heels and real power in the middle of the field. And Ozturk just dives in on Lapsley, and this is a real good opportunity for Charlton. Left edge of the box. Sits up really nicely for a left footer. Imagine Matt Marshall can strike it both sides. Will fancy this. Lewis Page, another option, the left back.
Yes, certainly a lot closer than the previous free kick a couple of minutes ago. That was a very central position, and only Taylor was interested. This more to the right of the D, so it might suit a left footer. There is a right-footed option there as well. It's not Taylor, incidentally. And it's a Hearn Grant who goes for a goal, clips the top of the wall, balloons over the bar, and it will be a Charlton corner kick. It was the right-footed option who actually went for it in the end, but didn't quite clear the wall. And Charlton will have to settle for a corner kick. It's going to be taken from their left, and in swinger. So Rebo's come across to take it. As Sunderland try and mark up their men. It's plenty of movement in the box, headed away near post, and the referee, the guy, I think it was O'Neill who headed it clear, was then jumped into by a Charlton player, and the referee felt that was an infringement, and it will be a free kick to Sunderland inside their own box.
Yeah, he got a real clattering into there, did O'Neill at the near post. He had a bright start to the game. Referee John Brooks has been an assistant referee in the Premier League for some time, but taking the whistle in League One this season and the Football League. John McLaughlin, a chance to clear, but you've got to say that Charlton rather have had the better things so far.
Yeah, clearance downfield from Sunderland. It's actually one in the opposing half, and there's a chance for them to get to the ball rolling. Good ball into the box, low towards the near post, and they've just blocked off all the runners. It was a dangerous ball in from the left-hand side. I think it was Gooch, but credit to Charlton, or miscontrol out the other end has allowed Ahern Grant a chance there to run. He's going in towards the D, just overrun it. Is he clipped? The referee says yes, and this will be a decision that's going in Charlton's favour. And I think the referee's pointed to the spot. It looked to be just inside the box. Sunderland are arguing it was just outside, but this is a penalty to Charlton.
Yeah, the yellow card, I think it's Chris Maguire tracking back. He can't quite believe it. The former Sheffield Wednesday Aberdeen man, seeing it again. Ahern Grant gets in the box. I don't know what he's complaining about there, Maguire. He totally takes him out. It's clearly in the area as well. Ahern Grant knows what he's doing, but it's a poor challenge. Maguire's nowhere near the ball. Yellow card for him, and a penalty kick for Charlton.
Yes, good opportunity then to take the lead on the road, and well, it's a penalty. It's going to be Lyle Taylor who stands up to take it. Obviously, Charlton will be expecting this to go in. It's been positive from them going forward. Haven't necessarily threatened a goal, but now it looks like they might well be taking a lead. The referee's just making sure everybody's outside the box. Now Taylor's got to the word. He steps up and he curls it in towards the top corner. It's over the dive of McLaughlin, and Charlton have the advantage.
Yeah, very good penalty by Taylor, isn't it? Just opens his body out and plays to the goalkeeper's left. McLaughlin goes the right way, but it's too high for him. Very good penalty by Taylor, and Charlton lead 1-0.
Charlton have struck first in this League One opener. They made a pretty bright start to the game without threatening, but then just catching Sunderland on the break. Ahern Grant charging into the box. Maguire, of all people, was back there trying to intercept the ball. Ahern Grant got there first. He was brought down just inside. Right decision from John Brooks, the referee, despite Sunderland's thinking that it wasn't inside the box. Eventually, Lyle Taylor was given the green light to take the spot kick, and he beat the despairing dive of John McLaughlin, and Charlton arguably have taken a deserved lead. They've certainly been the more promising of the two sides inside the only 10 minutes. What a start for them. It's Sunderland 0, Charlton 1.
Yes, and Taylor almost in the thick of things there as John McLaughlin has to make a slight challenge on the edge of his box. Not a great back pass there. Ben Louvens was the guilty party. Sunderland just need to calm themselves down here. Here is young man Mamba into the feet of O'Neill. Now Donald Love making a bit of a foray down the right-hand side. Can't make anything of it, though. And that was a foul by Honeyman. Lyndon Gooch involved as well, so just not quite happening for the Wearsiders so far. It is a team that won't have seen too much of each other. There's a few new faces, the likes of Ozturk and Louvens and McLaughlin. So that back three of goalkeeper and two centre-halves haven't played too much together. That's not going to make Jack Ross's life much easier, but there's certainly talent in this team. But after a difficult few seasons, the onus is now on them to try and find something and get some rhythm, because like you say, Rob, they have been the second best as Taylor brings it down on the edge of the box. Lovely skill, wide now to Marshall on the right edge of the area. Once on his left foot, goes on his right, tries to cross it in, well marshalled by Matthews, and Gooch will bring the way for Sunderland, but it just seems too easy for Charlton at the moment.
Yeah, Charlton are causing all the problems. There's a bit of pace and physicality about them, but they're finding gaps, and they're really pulling the Sunderland rear guard from one way to the other. And okay, the penalty is the only notable effort on goal, but they've had a A couple of promising positions from free kicks. Obviously, the set pieces themselves petered out into not much. And it's been a good start for Lee Bowyer's side as they look to improve on their playoff defeat last year. Obviously, it's a long, long way to go in this game, let alone in the season. But I don't think Lee Bowyer could have asked for a better side, for a better start to his side. Of course, on the road, you know, a good ground. I suppose that could be an inspiration for League One teams who could go into a ground such as the Stadium of Light.
Oh, absolutely, and a team, a name of Sunderland, they're there to be hit at, aren't they, in terms of the size of the club and the size of the ground. It must be, like you say, inspiring, and from a roundabout way, it could also intimidate the home side if their fans start to get on their backs and things aren't going well at home. It could be difficult for them as Love tries to cross in from the right hand side, well played by Lapsley, but yeah, well, it's a bit like Derby with Frank Lampard in the Championship, isn't it? Everyone will try and raise the game to beat Frank Lampard's team.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they didn't have a great home record over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 seasons. Here's an opportunity to try and at least get the ball into the box, but Honeyman's initial cross or threaded through ball is cleared. Cross coming in from the right-hand side is pretty disappointing in the end from Love. And that's going to go out of play all across the other side for a throw into Charlton, 10 or 15 yards from their own corner flag. Right-hand side, they're in no rush to take this as Chris Solly goes across. He's already issuing some instructions out to where he's going to throw it before he's even picked up the ball. Eventually, throw-in does come in. It's a decent one down field, flicked up in the air really by Taylor, and helped further downfield by Lapsley. But it's a good header clear at least from Ozturk back into the Charlton half, although their midfield is winning that battle both sides of the halfway line really. And it's Charlton who have possession back, and now they're trying to work the triangles to try and create some space. It's with Aribo who's just threaded down the channel, and Luvens has caught wrong side, and just getting there first Hearn Grant. The challenge came in from Ozturk and didn't get much of the ball, but Hearn Grant stays on his feet. Now digs out across towards the far post, two arriving, and Sunderland just watching it. It's just eluded both Marshall and Lapsley, only just goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, well, Marshall and Lapsley seem to get in each other's way there, didn't they? And Matthews wasn't competing at all. Really good play. Aribo looks a good player in the middle of the park. This slotted a great ball through to Hearn Grant, who quite strangely bent his run, whereas if he'd run straight, he would have run straight in on goal. Grant had a good spell last year on loan at Crawley, 9 goals in 15 games, a falling out of favour under Carl Robinson. This is his first game under Lee Bowyer, winning the penalty, and he's made a generally very good start.
Yeah, it's been a good start from Charlton all round, really. They've dealt with most of what Sunderland have had to offer so far, and here they come again coming forward as Marshall just tried to work it through to Hearn Grant, but although the pass doesn't quite find its target, they're trying to press high up the pitch and force another mistake. They're not letting Sunderland settle anywhere on this pitch, and they've won it back again with Taylor bringing it forward, just tries to tease it into the box towards Hearn Grant. I think on slightly different wavelengths, but that's a poor clearance from Luvens. Straight out to Marshall on the right-hand side, who's jinking one way, then the other. Support is there from Lapsley, who whips in a cross. Again, Sunderland's back four is on their heels a little bit. The cross not particularly accurate. Comes out towards Aribo. His shot balloons up in the air, and Taylor's actually won the second ball. Now it's dinked into the box. Ozturk just about gets there ahead of Hearn Grant, and Sunderland, they're wanting all sorts of time on the ball just outside their own box. Struggling just to get anywhere.
Yeah, they are struggling to just find a pass, aren't they? You just need to settle themselves down coming forward here, but there seems to be enough movement just to say that. Well, actually there is some decent movement, but the level of the Sunderland passing is getting in all sorts of trouble.
Here's another opportunity. Flag just went up. It was a really tight decision, but again, it's those front two of Taylor and Hearn Grant who are just causing problem after problem for Luvens and Ozturk, and it'd be interesting to see that offside again. The flag went up straight away, and I think Taylor knew that. His shot was saved as Sunderland try and hit back down the other end as Gooch takes on his marker. Page is pointing to the ball. But the referee has given Sunderland a free kick. It's just to the right of the 18-yard box. It was a second touch, really, that just invited the challenge, but not quite making the ball. The referee's made a good decision there. John Brooks, free kicks, a couple of yards within the edge of the 18-yard box, but probably the angle too tight to go for goal, but certainly a good position to at least threaten. And Maguire is the man standing over it. He, of course, the only man on a yellow card so far. As I say, he's the only man standing over it. Another just comes to have a word. But it is actually going to be left for Maguire. One Sunderland player offside at the moment. The defensive line is about a yard outside the 6-yard box. They try and go low, just behind the penalty spots. It's only partially cleared by Lapsley. A shot comes in, and it's blocked again by Lapsley. Just happens to be in the way, and the ball ricochets all the way back towards the halfway line. Whereas Sunderland win the ball back. I mentioned they've got a pretty poor record at home. It's just flashed up on our screen. September 22. Since September 2012, they've won one home game. Well,
and that's why they've had issues, isn't it, really? They've always started games poorly, or started the season poorly, should I say, and that's exactly what's happened here. They like these set pieces, don't they? Training ground moves, Sunderland, but that one I thought was just a bit telegraphed, really. And, well, I don't know, it's been an odd start, very disjointed Sunderland side against what looked like a very good Charlton team.
It remains Sunderland 0, Charlton 1. That goal from the penalty spot in the 10th minute, the difference between the two sides. Charlton still look the better side going forward, largely because Taylor and Ahern Grant are working well together as a partnership. Luvens and Ozturk are just about hanging on to their particular coattails. They haven't actually forced a save yet from McLaughlin since the penalty. Of course, he didn't save that. Sunderland struggling to get going at the other end. The one moment of danger they've had was from a set piece that actually came before the goal, but a deep cross towards the seemingly unmarked O'Neill was just palmed away by the keeper at the very last second. But all the danger is in the other half of the pitch. Charlton are much the better of the two sides, and they lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, they are the better of the two sides, but there's a bit of space here for Maguire to work his way into on the left-hand side. Drives wide, and Lyndon Gooch continued his run down the left, switching flanks there, the American, but keeps the ball away. And Lapsley is playing almost a bit of a free roll today. Comes back and wins it. A bit of an issue here. Lewis Page is down for Charlton, the left back, and doesn't seem to be too happy with life either. He went down under a challenge on the far side. It's worth mentioning as well, Charlton only have 5 subs out there, 7 available today. So obviously a few fitness and maybe not enough signed, as it's a Lyndon Gooch foul. First with Page, he bangs his knee against Honeyman, and then Lyndon Gooch totally smashes into his ankle. So maybe 1 or 2 problems, but they need Page to stay on the field, just from a numbers point of view, really.
Yeah, Lee Bowyer, I mean, it didn't look the worst challenge in there. Well, it's certainly late, and arguably he could have had a free kick. I don't think the referee gave one at that particular moment, though. But Lee Bowyer looks fairly relaxed on the sidelines. At times as a player, of course, he looked very agitated and frustrated, but smooth at the moment.
Well, the managers are often the opposite of what they were as players. Mancini was smooth as you like as a player, wasn't he, and always agitated in the dugout. Maybe Bowyer's matured from the player he was.
Yeah, it looks as though Page is all right. Not sure of the weather conditions, obviously, but a lot of players taking an opportunity there to get a drink. I mean, it looks sunny and warm, but it's independent off-tube studio commentary, not actually at the ground. But Charlton very much are in control of things at the Stadium of Light, albeit by the slenderest of the margins. Sunderland on the attack as it's with Mahad. Digs at it. Cross comes shot on the angle. It's blocked away. Love keeps it alive and works it out to Gooch on the right-hand side. Love felt he could have had a free kick, but a referee might have played the advantage. Cross in towards the far post, headed up in the air by Maguire. He's backpedaling and couldn't really control it, although the clearance hasn't gone too far, and Sunderland remain just in a very good position. Love played the ball out to the right and then started limping. He might have a problem. Still, the cross comes in towards the far post and just a little bit too deep for the red and white shirts in there as Maguire sliding in beyond the far post, who I suppose got closest to it. And it will just be a goal kick, but Love might have a little bit of a problem for the Black Cats.
Yeah, I think so. He seemed to be limping, didn't he? Having a bit of treatment now. Just looking at the bench, you'd imagine Brian Oviedo would come on, play as a left back, and Matthews would go to right back. But just seeing it again, he just lands on, I think it's Page's ankle, so it's an awkward one. and I think of his left ankle, and like you say, he played that ball, didn't he? And straight away he was grimacing. And well, it's his right ankle, isn't it? And well, yeah, a shame for a player who's worked so hard in pre-season and may have to go off after 21 and a half minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there was no intent from anybody. He was jumping in the air, and it's just one of those where the front of his foot caught the back heel of Page, and it just rolled a little bit as he's landing. So he's landing on a rolled ankle, and might need a little bit of time just to see if he can run it off. Of course, he might not be able to run it off. Page had his own little injury scare a couple of minutes ago as well, so I don't think he was particularly pleased with that. We're just having a look at the pre-season friendlies. Of course, Sunderland winning 6-0 against St Mirren, just ahead of the League One opener. That was 21st of July, actually. And Charlton's pre-season's not too bad. Plenty of wins. Admittedly, they're not the strongest opposition, but it's all about getting fitness. They've really started this game positively, though. Lead by that goal to nil as Aribo is penalised this time. Just perhaps a little bit too physical, winning the ball back off Maguire, and Sunderland have a free kick. Maybe the signs that Sunderland have settled the fraction.
Yeah, you mentioned the stadium before. Maybe there's a few nerves coming out after a pretty nightmarish last 24 months or so at home. But yeah, they've settled it into the game. Josh Myers getting more involved up front, wins a throw-in, and yeah, just signs are coming to life.
Yeah, Sunderland haven't threatened Dylan Phillips at all in the Charlton goal, though. Love is collecting the ball now, and he seems to be running okay, so just a momentary worry. Seems fine as here comes a Honeyman, just powers it into the feet of Mad. Did well to control, but then tried a nutmeg that didn't work, and Charlton are able to clear, but that's asking too much of Lapsley. And Leuven steps in. Now it's with Honeyman. Now Nain in space, 30-35 yards out. Now it's Love back into Nain, just outside the D. Closed down well by Aribo. And Marshall gets to the second ball. Again, the clearance is not fantastic. That might label that as a problem for Charlton in the opening quarter of the game. They're just not quite clearing their lines. They've got plenty back behind the ball. Sunderland have possession there, but another nutmeg, it doesn't quite work off. And that's a better ball from Ariba, this time finding Taylor, who threads it down at the line for a Hearn Grant, a willing runner. There's not much support ahead of him, but Taylor is coming. Hearn Grant doesn't need him initially. Eases past the challenge of Ozturk. Now support does come. Shot comes in, and that's palmed away by the keeper, McLaughlin. It's fully 30 yards out from Darren Pratley, heading for the top corner. Decent save, just a corner.
Yeah, great play, wasn't it, by Pratley? He gets the ball out his feet, strikes it ever so well. He's bending away from McLaughlin, not quite in the top corner. Maybe even been a hint of a deflection in front of him as well, but a good save nonetheless by McLaughlin. Needs to be made, but Charlton, Sunderland enjoyed that bit of possession, but Charlton looks so good going forward, and I think this is the end of Love's afternoon.
Yeah, he's taking his boot off now, so there's going to be a slight delay in proceedings. It remains Sunderland 0, Charlton 1. Perhaps a sense that Sunderland have settled a little bit. Charlton still look dangerous going forward, but perhaps not as much as they were in the opening 10-15 minutes. Still, they've had the next best chance of the game other than the goal, albeit from distance. Too much time and space for Darren Pratley. 25-yarder heading towards the top corner, but McLaughlin got across and palmed it over the bar just for a corner kick. Problems for Sunderland at the back. Donald Love has picked up an injury. Total innocuous one really, but he just rolled his ankle fraction and he cannot continue, so he has been replaced. But at least for the home fans, they're not getting overrun as much as they were. Brian Oviedo is the man who's come on to replace Donald Love. It remains Sunderland 0, Charlton 1.
Yeah, Costa Rican comes on for the home side. The most popular figure on away side, but they need him here. Play with a bit of quality, a bit of something different. He goes right onto the line to mark Hearn Grant. Lyle Taylor being marked by Josh Meyer. Plenty of movement, pushing and shoving as you'd expect. Ball comes in eventually from Mark Marshall's ahead of the near post. It just dribbles wide of John McLaughlin's left hand upright. Joe Aribo it was who was in there. Just seeing it again, he totally was a clever bit of play by a Charlton player. Adam Matthews was just dragged out of it there. He was marking Aribo. There wasn't much complaining from Matthews though, so maybe he thought he was not as physical as he should have been. McLaughlin will have been relieved to see it go wide, though. Here is the McLaughlin with the goal kick. A long one looking for Meyer, who's had a little service so far. Maguire lets it go over his head, claims for a free kick. Not to be, though, and Oviedo, his first part in the game is a foul on Mark Marshall. He'll have a real job in his hands with Marshall. Full of pace is the Jamaican. Very, very good spell at Bradford City, but wanted to return to London and seems to have found a good home at Charlton. Long ball forward by Lapsley, takes it quickly. Marshall helps it to Ahern Grant. His pass isn't the best, but Maguire will pick up the pieces. And now, some of them are trying to play their way out of the dark alley here, and it's, of course, Charlton who come up with it. No, good play by O'Neill. Then there's a bit of a scrap on the floor. Lapsley's in there. It's a foul against the Charlton number 32. An opportunity for Sunderland to clear their lines. Scrappy game from a Sunderland point of view. Need to step up a bit. Here is Ozturk. Recent signing. Had a spell with Hearts before heading back to Turkey. Now we're returning. That's a long ball. It's a poor ball. Straight through for a goal kick. And, well, you can tell, you know what Charlton's tactics are. They seem to be quick counter-attack inside, get the ball into the feet of Ahern Grant and Taylor, and everyone move forward. Whereas with Sunderland, they don't seem to have much of a game plan.
No, I mean, it's a struggle to work out what it is at the moment. I mean, certainly the likes of Maher and Maguire and Gooch aren't causing the same sort of problems that Taylor and Ahern Grant are. I think bringing Oviedo on might actually help him. You know, he's a natural left-sided player, whereas Matthews isn't. And I just saw it on the few occasions that Sunderland got down the left-hand side. Whoever it was tended to want to come back on the right, so they're not really stretching them too wide. So I think that might actually help them, but I think Charlton are winning the midfield battle, so somebody in the middle of the park for us, Sunderland's going to have to step up.
Yeah, O'Neill and Honeyman have been second best so far as Matthews plays an aimless ball down the line and out of play. It'll be a throw in to Charlton. Well, they're taking it a lot further back than I thought they would. Jack Ross with plenty to ponder so far. White shirt, red and white striped tie. Similar outfit to Lee Bowyer, actually. Ross, like we say, he's had a decent pedigree, guiding St Mirren to the Scottish Championship title last term. Decided to come south of the border for what has been a bit of a poison chalice of a job in recent seasons. Neither Simon Grayson nor Chris Coleman could get a tune out of this side last term. Here is Page down the left-hand side. He's got Ahern Grant making a good run. It falls to Lapsley. Oh, his efforts are poor. And McLaughlin almost gave him a second chance, but Louvens was caught ball watching, I thought there. He did get a touch, but it wasn't the best clearance. Good play down the left-hand side by Page. Just having a look again. Ball in. Louvens, bit of a half-hearted clearance, rather. And it came to Lapsley. It was one of those, he stuck it with his right foot because he's a right-footed player. It was one of the, you want a left foot running onto that and smashing into the top corner.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty weak finish, but I mean, the defending again, I mean, if you're any one of the Charlton players, they're just not looking at where the danger is coming from. I mean, Ozturk's only interested in where Page is initially. He doesn't realise there's a run and space down the left-hand side. It's almost like they're playing catch-up with the ball, isn't it? And Louvens' a backheel clearance, doesn't know where it's going. All the Charlton players are stood there standing. Lapsley's being outnumbered, but he's the only one that goes towards the ball. It's a shot at goal. I mean, the defending is pretty poor from Sunderland. Lapsley on another day, you would think, would be disappointed that he hasn't threatened a second goal more. Yes, he's forced to save, and I have to say McLaughlin didn't exactly stop it cleanly, even if it was a bit of a dribbler. But all round there defensively, I thought Sunderland were poor.
Yeah, 3 shots on target for Charlton, nothing so far for Sunderland in front of their home fans, who have been looking for a performance. Free kick here, be Maguire to take it, just wide of the middle of the goal. He's going to he's going to play it down the line, but it's another set piece move. I thought he was going to go for a goal, then he was going to cross it, chip it towards the back post, but no, he rolled it down the line to Matthews, who, well, he may have been expecting it, but so was everyone in a yellow Charlton shirt, and they picked it off. And again, it's wasteful from Sunderland. Expecting a bit better from Maguire. He's played at some good clubs in his time. Sheffield Wednesday, one of them, Aberdeen rather, as well, and he's not injected the quality they would have hoped. Here is Meyer. He's found a bit of a lone throw at the moment. The the big striker. Lovely play by Taylor. Little nutmeg on Oviedo. Oviedo tries to clip his heels, but Taylor regains his feet. Good balance by the signing from Wimbledon. And he tries to play maybe too clever a ball. And he bounces back to a Sunderland player. But this is where Charlton wants Sunderland, really. They make them play out from the back. That's a good play initially by the young man Mumba, but Page's got too much for Matthews. Interesting formation, really, for Charlton, actually, because you've got Marshall wide on the right-hand side, and Ahern, Grant and Taylor up front, but no one really on the left. I think Lapsley may be half doing a job, but they obviously feel like they can overload Sunderland down the left, and it's working so far. Here is Lyndon Gooch. Haribo's too good for him, and Pratley digs it over the top. Bit of an aimless ball through to McLaughlin, but it's a bit attacking defence at the moment. Sunderland, when they are forced from deep, they can't seem to play their way out, and they seem reluctant to go back to front.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the touch in key areas is particularly key. I mean, Gooch looked as though he had a chance there to at least have a run, but then he just overran it a fraction and it was cleared back. I think Taylor's starting to drop a little bit deep. It looks like he's full of confidence at the moment. He's trying to play sort of playmaker role. We've seen obviously bits of skill. He's got the goal. Now he's trying 30, 40-yard passes as the deep cross in from Sunderland looks a little bit too deep, but Oviedo should at least keep it alive.
Yeah, he should. Oviedo on the left-hand side. Costa Rican ball into the box. Heads go up. It's Jason Pearce's head that meets the ball. Brought down here by Honeyman into O'Neill. He's got Gooch on the right rather. Wants the ball, Gooch. Wants playing the ball, the Americans, and he's doing something with it here. That's a foul by Page. Perhaps a shout for a yellow card as well. It was a professional foul, and barks his orders, his displeasure rather, at his teammates. No one was really covering him there. He's holding his shirt. I think that's a yellow card for me.
Yeah, I mean, you think the linesman should be saying, I mean, both hands are grabbing maybe the bottom of the shirt, top of the shorts kind of thing. I thought the yellow card has just come out, literally. So, I mean, the referee's had a chat, I'm guessing, with the linesman. But that's the second player into the book. But I don't think he's got any complaints, but that's probably the first time we've seen a Charlton player beaten like that. It was good skills from Gooch, and he was certainly running in towards the box, and I think Page took one for the team.
Yeah, you feel they need to get Gooch more involved. Page rather joins Maguire in the book. Maguire will take this free kick wide on the right-hand side, yet to really put the ball into the area. This time he does, it bounces, no one really attacks it for either team. It's going to go out. Would it be a goal kick or a corner? No, it'd be a goal kick. It landed around the penalty spot. It was Luvens who was attacking it. No one really did so for Charlton. They're all a bit ball watching, and it bounces past a relieved Pratley out for a goal kick. But they've tried a number of set-piece moves, training ground moves so far in the game. Have Sunderland, and maybe a more basic approach can fit well for them.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it from the corner, okay. I mean, obviously there was a training ground move with the spin and run to the back post from the near post, but it was a simple one ball into the box. That was a one ball into the box. This passing it short hasn't worked for them because their passing hasn't been good enough. And we can see the problems that they can pose just by having bodies in there. Here come Charlton again, though.
Yes, Ahern Grant. He's going to make his way into the air. Once on his right foot, he's got Lapsley overlapping. Ahern Grant keeps it. He's still got the ball. The Charlton man into the box. Lyle Taylor. Oh, he just overcomplicated things. Maybe was there a hint of offside? I don't think there was, but it's a really clever bit of movement. In fact, he was offside, but he just steps back and then steps back in, and no one marking him for Sunderland. He is offside. Maybe he shouldn't be either, but neither Oviedo or Luvens know where he is. Tries a little backheel finish, but they just look too good for them at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit disappointing. It's one thing if you know where the man behind you is, but you can see that no defender is playing him on there. And, of course, the man at the far post, Oviedo, isn't going to play him onside just for fun. So he should have really just dropped back half the yard, easy to say, but it looked a little bit more clear-cut than perhaps it ought to have been there. But, I mean, too much time and space. Again, clever little ball in from Lapsley as well. Obviously, it spotted where Taylor was. Like you say, overplayed finish. I just wonder if what we're seeing from him, he's just starting to get a little bit overconfident, Lyle Taylor.
Yeah, I saw him a few years ago playing for Wimbledon in the League Two playoffs, and was a big part of their rise into the third tier. And I thought another team may have a gamble on him maybe in the Championship, but he did have a few loose touches, and that's possibly what we're seeing here is, again, he just cuts inside. And he wanted one touch too many. That's a dangerous ball back in by Honeyman. Oviedo does well to clear his lines down the line to Maguire, making hard work of things at the moment. A few of the Sunderland players need to get involved a bit more. I think Barley Mumba hasn't had as many touches as he would have liked. Maguire certainly needs to step up. Honeyman's been quiet as well, but we've got 8 or so minutes left of the first half of this League One fixture. It's independent off-tube studio commentary. It's Sunderland 0, Charlton 1. Lau Taylor's penalty making the difference after a foul on Hearn Grant by Maguire. Maya with a touch off to I think it was O'Neill on the far side. Didn't come to anything in the end. Oviedo will take the throw and working the way down the left hand side. It's inside now to O'Neill. Ali Mumba once he's central on the halfway line, but this seems to be one touch too many every time for the Black Cats, and then Leuven's volleys it forward, but no one in particular now. Aribo's had a good first half, really powerful midfield runner. Don't always see that in central midfielders these days. Here's Lewis Page. It was a good ball by Aribo, and Page goes down under pressure. Personally, I thought he'd overrun it, but there doesn't seem to be too many complaints from the Sunderland players. Maybe Mumba might have something to say, but just seeing it again, I thought, I think that's a soft one.
Yeah, it is a soft one. I mean, the arm does come out, but he's not really pushing him or anything. And I think Page was becoming the meat in the sandwich because that's just the angle that he was taking. And you'd feel a little bit sorry for the two Sunderland players. It's because they didn't really make a challenge, and Page has gone down between them. Free kick's 35 yards out, but obviously the threat is there, probably not directly, but big lads up from the back and clip ball in.
Yeah, Marshall will be the man to take it with his left foot, dinks it towards the back post, heads go up, but fair play, John McLaughlin comes out and takes everything with him. Clean catch by the former Bradford goalkeeper. His throwing out is terrible though, and Maguire can't do anything but play it off. A Charlton player out for a throw. Distribution has been poor so far from McLaughlin. He'll be disappointed by that. They had big keeper problems last season, didn't they, really, Sunderland? Neither Robin Reuter nor Jason Steele could keep hold of the gloves. Steele has since moved on, but Reuter's on the bench this afternoon as Jack Ross discusses where they're going to go in the second half with the tactics. I think probably a bit too early to make a change at the break, but if Charlton do get a second one, you don't see Sunderland scoring twice.
No, I mean, there's a stat flashed up that they've only lost 3 of their last 8 opening games, so, you know, while they're 1-0 down, they're going to be in it, but, I mean, the problem is they're not winning any of those 8. They've drawn 5. It's difficult to see them turning this one around because, I mean, they're trying to play a bit of football, aren't they? There's no doubt about it. The defenders get it. And they're trying to pass it down. They're not just lumping it forward because I don't think they carry the same threat that Charlton did. If Charlton went long ball, they might still cause a problem, but it's not looking like Sunderland are going to do the same thing. But the problem is Charlton are pressing high up the pitch and they're winning the ball back high up the pitch.
Maguire wide to Lyndon Gooch has swapped wings, ball towards the back post. Too strong though this time. Honeyman, the skipper, was coming in there, trying to make a nuisance of himself. Nice idea, but again, the execution left a bit to be desired.
Time running out at the end of this first half. There hasn't been too much of a change in it. Charlton still look the most threatening of the two sides. Admittedly, the chance is not exactly free-flowing now, but they perhaps should have doubled their advantage. Page down the left-hand side. It was too quick for Oz to lift a decent ball in. Leuven's with a rather lazy backheel clearance. No other Sunderland player reacted. Lapsley did, running onto it, maybe 16 yards out. It was a pretty weak finish in the end, straight at McLaughlin, who didn't take it clearly, but there weren't many other yellow shirts to threaten getting on to the end of the rebound. But that's about as good as it's got chance-wise, but Sunderland aren't threatening at all. Sunderland 0, Charlton 1.
Yeah, just looking at what Sunderland might want to introduce from the bench. Jerome Sinclair on loan from Watford is probably the standout candidate if they were to make an attacking change. Got some interesting characters. Jack Baldwin signed from Peterborough quite recently. Of course, they have recently signed Charlie Wyke, but he's not in the 18 today. As here is Matthews, cuts inside, but a bit aimless. He'll find his opposite fullback, Brian Oviedo, will go for goal. It's an interesting effort. It's too easy in the end for Dylan Phillips, who didn't have to move. Oviedo shakes his head. It's coming a bit different for him. Missed out on the World Cup due to poor form with Sunderland last season and hasn't been able to find a move away.
Well, at least it goes down as an attempt from Sunderland, because I can't think of too many other attempts they've had, and of course they did hit the target, but scoring from that range doesn't happen often.
No, shot on target, like you say, at least he got off the mark from that point of view. Maybe they are starting to finish the first half strongly as Jason Pearce, heavy challenge on Meyer, and he may well have gone into the book. Yes, he has, the Charlton skipper. Third man to be cautioned by referee Brooks. And what Sunderland got an opportunity again to put the ball into the box. Charlton haven't always looked too confident at defending set pieces, but now they take it short to Barley Mumba. He's been informed he'll be receiving his GCSE results in a few weeks' time, so if that doesn't make you feel old. Here is Maguire wide to Matthews on the right-hand side. Deep ball in, looking for the run of Oviedo. It falls to the Costa Rican, drives it across the area. Meyer was in there, couldn't get an effort on target. He was always going away from the ball and going to ground under pressure from Pearce, but a bit better hiss from Sunderland. Still no real clear-cut chances, but at least they're showing a bit more intent.
Yeah, I mean, that could have gone anywhere. I mean, in the end, Mike could have done better as well. But, I mean, it's awkward for Mike. I can't blame him in any way. He's under pressure. The ball's behind him. He's got to somehow control it or shoot it one way or the other under pressure, just on the edge of the 6-yard box. And he just got too much on his deflection, and it's gone way behind. Stat flashed up. He's not exactly prolific goal scorer. 1 goal in 20 senior appearances. But obviously, Sunderland about to cut their cloth. He's given a chance at the start of the season, but I mean, he's going to need service, and that's something that Sunderland haven't provided so far. But I do like Oviedo actually on this pitch, because he knows what he's doing. He can certainly provide attacking threat. He can pick out a good ball. I just think he offers more on the left than Matthews did, and obviously he's had a shot and a cross there that might have led to something else on another day.
Yeah, here is Maguire. He's got Matthews making a run down the right side. Matthews got the wrong side of Page there. He thought about bringing him down. Late yellow card. Look at him. Pierce came across, sweeping up, cleared out for a throw. And as we head towards the final minute of the first half, it's taken quickly into O'Neill. Back heel by him to Maguire. Maguire's cross is blocked and out for a corner kick. Block coming from Page, who's certainly been in the thick of the action in the last 10-15 minutes. Maguire will be the man to take it from the near side. One of those summer arrivals after spending last term at Bury. Bears to take it. Low cross driven as well. Looking for Louvens. Oh, coming in the back post was Ozturk. Couldn't get the right contact or enough contact to divert it past Dylan and Phillips. Seeing it again is a low ball in. Again, it's a set piece. Low ball in, looking for Louvens. Louvens flicks it on, just wide of Ozturk. Something they've worked on again, but not coming off.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be disappointed for if you were Lee Bowyer. The fact that Louvens, who's got to be one of those sort of targets you pick up, has got a free header for a start. Admittedly, it's a fair way out, but then Ozturk's not really being closed down, and I'm not even convinced that the goalkeeper knew that that was going out. So, I mean, he did get a touch, didn't he, Ozturk? But obviously, it's a difficult angle. But I didn't think that was a great sort of defensive setup from Charlton. A free header initially could lead to absolutely anything. We're going to get 3 minutes of added time, which we've entered. But, I mean, it's actually a decent finish to the half for Sunderland. OK, Phillips hasn't been overworked, but having threatened nothing for 42, 43 minutes, you know, they've got in and around the box.
Yeah, the ball in the box seems to be the way forward, doesn't it, for Sunderland? As Lyle Taylor gives a free kick away for a little kick on Oviedo, back away into his face. I think maybe Taylor, you mentioned overconfident, maybe he has got a bit of a cockiness about him, hasn't he, as Matthews comes down the right-hand side. He's got the goal though, I suppose, hasn't he, Taylor? So he's the match winner as things stand as we head towards the break. Here is Taylor. He was meeting a Sunderland sandwich there, and he's gone down clutching his right ankle. Referee not interested though, and Mumba will calmly Cruyff turn back to Louvens. Taylor's remained down, but Sunderland aren't interested. It's Oviedo. A bit of a running battle, those two, so he's not going to put the ball out. Here is Gooch on the left-hand side. He's got Honeyman just inside Maguire once. It's a ball over the top looking for the run of O'Neill. And then a shot comes in from Maguire to Mayo. Is this going to be a bit of luck for Sunderland now? It's saved by Norris. It was Phillips rather. It was very much a inadvertent cross by Maguire, but Mayo was quick to it. Just couldn't get the ball out of his feet quickly enough. It was just a touch wide. Yeah, he just looked like a player who wasn't confident on his left side there, didn't he? He took half a step too much.
No, he's 7-8 yards out. Why wasn't he shooting? Keeper's closed him down. I think, that he actually slipped as he was then pulling the trigger, but I don't know why he needs a touch there. Easy with hindsight. Because, the angle seems good enough. Could go either post, but the touch just allowed the keeper to come out, close him down. And, again, yes... more positivity for Sunderland. They did nothing for this half, so at the very least, Jack Ross can at least be positive going into the half-time break, and they may well have the momentum in the second half. Half-time's coming up very soon. Charlton just struggled in the last 5. They've offered nothing going forward themselves, and they might just be grateful that half-time's coming.
Yeah, I think Lee Bowie will be happy to get his side into the sheds, won't he? As goalkeeper Phillips will take his time over getting the ball back in play, just rolls it out. All eyes on the referee, almost played the full 3 minutes of additional time. On ball looking for Ahern Grant and Taylor, won easily by Luvens, then a rebound comes from nowhere, trying to win it. It eventually falls to Matthews, whose ball to Ozturk's not the best. Doesn't matter though, because the referee has called time.
Right, so it's half time now, so if you do leave the stream now, make sure to come back in 15 minutes when the second half does start. Thanks for supporting the first half. Got around 40 viewers as our highest, which is pretty much the same amount as yesterday's Reading v Derby match. Thank you for that. I'm going to put some NCS music on right now. So if you want to send stream, you can do and listen to that. I'm just going to pause music for a second because I need to put my thing on charge. This may be an issue because I have to use it this way, where the charge is on, so this may be an issue. I might have to turn it. I have to use it this way. No, I'm just going to risk it for like last 45 minutes, then I will find a way to change. Because I have to rotate it the way that the charge is, like that, so that may be an issue. The stream, my thing might die mid-second half. Hopefully it doesn't. No, it was on like 80% when I started.
You're listening to the 24/7 Draft Radio on Flair TV.
I've turned the brightness down to the minimum, so that might help save battery.
Radio on Flair TV.
Right, second half should be starting now, because I can see on my screen it says 46 substitutions, so I'm just going to get the commentary back on. Hopefully it should be starting in a minute. Right, here we are.
As the second half is about to resume, it's Sunderland who've made it. Jerome Sinclair is the man who's come on. Luke O'Neill is the one who's made way. But it was a good end to the first half for Sunderland, but they've got to start a lot better.
Yeah, a bad start to the second half. We'll have to replay the kick-off because it was not according to the rules, according to referee Brooks. But yeah, a very good end to the first half, but a really poor 45 from a Sunderland point of view. I think maybe the change, bringing on an extra centre forward, will give Meyer a bit of support as much as anything, because he was outnumbered a lot of the time in the box. Second change for Sunderland as well. So obviously Jack Ross making a decisive move. Scrappy start to this second half. It's just one of those things that if Charlton get another goal, I think it's game over. But if Sunderland get an equaliser, it really is game on.
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh giving a free kick against Maher here, because they haven't practically threw himself at a ball. And of course, the free kick's given for a high boot, dangerous play, but the ball wasn't that high in the end. As a free kick is played into the box, Luven's head's clear under no real pressure, and the ball back in. Well, it's not particularly good in the end, but it's somehow kept alive by Hearn Grant, who's going towards the left edge of the box. Now the challenge comes in, it's a good one as well from Oz. Actually plays it off the Charlton man. It goes behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. But yes, Charlton be pretty happy with their first half, but they did struggle a bit towards the end defensively. Maybe they were just a little bit tired. They did play a high sort of pressing game, trying to force mistakes out of the back four of Sunderland, which is understandable given that they forced those mistakes plenty of times. But they might just have run out of legs, being the first match of the season, perhaps not fully match fit as Sunderland come forward. That's a loose pass from Gooch, doesn't reach its target, but it's not well dealt with by Charlton, only for Mahan then to overhit the ball into the box, and it trickles behind for a goal kick. So a reminder of the lineups. Sunderland go McLaughlin, Oviedo, Luvens, Ozturk, Matthews, Mumba, Sinclair, Hriman, Gooch, Mahan, Maguire, of course Sinclair and Oviedo both substitutes. Love injured in the first half, replaced by Oviedo. Sinclair on at the break in place of O'Neill, and Maguire is the only man on a yellow card. No changes for Charlton just yet. Phillips, Page, Bauer, Pearce, Solly, Pratley, Hearn, Grant, Marshall, Aribo, Lapsley and Taylor. Two men on a yellow card for Charlton, Pearce, Page. Sunderland try and come forward again, but a challenge comes in from Page. Only momentarily stops the ball. Then it's played into the feet of Sinclair, who turns his man and is brought down. It's a free kick to Sunderland, maybe 25 yards out, only just level with the right edge of the 18-yard box as Sunderland look at it. Just a little bit of a lunge in the end from Bauer, and he didn't get the ball, and no real complaints. No yellow card, incidentally. but a dangerous position for Sunderland.
Yeah, nice turn, wasn't it, by Sinclair? Played at Liverpool before, but kind of forced through his move to Watford. Didn't get a look in, but opportunity to get some games under his belt at Sunderland. This is a really good opportunity here. A nice angle for Maguire to put the ball into the box.
Yeah, there's a man out wide right-hand side. They tried that in the first half. It didn't work. It's going in towards the mixer, and it just eluded the head of Maha. Cleared away far post by Solly. Should come back though as far as Sunderland are concerned, although Honeyman turns into a bit of a trouble. Rides a challenge, then tees it down the right, looking for Sinclair to chase, but pierces across and clears well up towards the halfway line, although Ahern Grant turns into a bit of traffic. Now Honeyman wins it back to Sinclair again, right edge of the area, he's into the box, just tees it down the line, but I think Matthews stopped his run because he's worried about going offside just as he was stopping. The pass was made and he couldn't carry on. So, but, yeah, promising signs for Sunderland.
Yeah, promising signs, but it's been the story of the game so far, hasn't it, for Sunderland? The final ball is just not there at all. Too firm that time by Sinclair, but he's made an impact so far, and there have been 4 minutes of the first half. Definitely encouraging signs for Sunderland. Question marks over whether they've got the quality or not.
Yeah, obviously Charlton haven't offered too much themselves as yet, but we've only had 4 just about minutes in the second period as McLaughlin clears a back pass from Oviedo towards the halfway line, headed forward though, but that should run through to McLaughlin again, and giving chase was Taylor. He was never going to win that, but because the ball wasn't going quite into the box, McLaughlin felt he didn't have enough time to control it, get into the area and pick it up, so he's cleared it into touch for a throw to Charlton, which has been taken pretty quickly, and Solly lifts it in towards the box and is headed towards goal, back paddling. McLaughlin is able to actually catch it just for a moment. He was coming to collect the cross, and the fear was that he'd come too far, but safe in the end. And it's an early ball out to the right-hand side as Matthews looks for the run of Maha near the corner flag. Goes allowed to turn by Bauer as well. Support comes from Matthews, although Charlton now plenty back behind the ball. Gooch is going to have a little run at would-be defenders, and he goes past Page towards the byline, tries to just work it back towards Honeyman, but hit the heel of Marshall back there, and Charlton are able to clear. But that's dangerous signs again as far as Sunderland going forward are concerned. Certainly a worry for Charlton, particularly given the fact that Pearce and Page playing on the left of their defence, both on yellow cards. And here comes Sunderland again down their right. It's with Gooch. This time fizzes an early ball in. It's just too high for Mahan. It's going to beat Oviedo into touch, throwing to Charlton. But whatever Jack Ross said at half-time, you'd think is having an effect.
Yeah, and you feel they've got to get the ball out to Gooch as much as they can. He always looks dangerous when he picks it up. Got a few nice touches, drop of the shoulder, those kind of things. And saw him when he played in the Premier League under David Moyes, and he got a really bad injury, and I think he struggled in the Championship to get fit last term, but he looks a real player at this level, and he is the danger man, especially, like you say, with both Pearce and Page on yellow cards.
Yeah, just coming up to 52 minutes played in independent half-tube studio commentary on for the League One opener. It's Sunderland 0, Charlton 1. The goal coming in the first half, inside 10 minutes, in fact. Lyle Taylor, summer signing from Wimbledon, of course, giving the Addicts the lead. Both Pratley and Lapsley could have doubled the advantage. Maha could have pulled one, got an equaliser just before the break, didn't take it. And it's 0-1 as Louvens stops the break down the right-hand side. There is a Sunderland player down, and I'm not sure if that was a hammy or just slightly winded momentarily. But no free kick was given for the... It's Oviedo, isn't it? The ball was hit into his midriff by Ozturk, so might just have been winded a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's winded, isn't he, Oviedo? Always a sore lump. And I thought he was in big trouble the way he was indicating, but yeah, he's just been winded, I think.
Yeah, it's not what you necessarily want to see if you're Jack Ross, as the cross comes in. It's arcing towards the near post, actually. Not a great ball in, but again... McLaughlin is able just to get across and prevent what might have been an embarrassing goal. Clears downfield, and then was that a handball? It is. It was just nudged past Pearce by Maha, but with the arm, at least an elbow, stuck it out, trying to make it big. No, he just punched it, in fact. And it is a free kick.
Yeah, I think a young player there, lacking a bit of subtlety, wasn't it? yeah, he just punched the ball in front of Pearce. Everyone kind of stopped. Even Maher stopped, didn't he? So, referee, I have to say, Brooks has had a good game, hasn't he, the referee? He's not had too much to do, but he seems to have got everything right so far.
Yeah, no real complaints about the penalty. Not from a foul viewpoint. There was a suggestion that Maguire was trying to perhaps suggest it was outside the box. Absolutely nowhere near it. And right decision made. That, of course, is the biggest decision of the game so far. It separates the two sides as Zarebo slips it through towards a hand grab. But again, right on the shoulder, he didn't want to set off too early, and the pass is slightly overhit. So Sunderland back in possession and making pretty good ground fairly rapidly as well, as Matthews gets into the box, drops his shoulder, digs out a cross. It's slightly miscued by Bauer, headed towards goal by Maher, but under pressure couldn't get the power. Both those players are actually ended up on the deck. Might have been a clash of heads. It was a very easy save for Phillips in the end, but Maher, well, he did what he could. Essentially just beat a defender in the end. It might have paid a little price for it.
Yeah, I think it's Solly, isn't it? It's one of those where both have got to go for it. Matthews just kept going and going, and Solly goes down. And one of the Sunderland players as well, yeah, Maher, under a bit of pressure, worryingly as well, from a Charlton point of view. In back play there, Pearce seemed to go down, clutching his left knee. But yeah, Solly, both of them took a real whack in the face. I think it was the Charlton man who came off worse. Still to make a change. Sunderland have made 2 already, but numbers are a bit short for Lee Bowyer today. Only got 5 substitutes, the 11 available. In fact, it's Jerome Sinclair who's come on, and well, it looks like possibly a cut above the left eye, which will need stitching up. Solly though looks like he's come off worse of the 2.
Yeah, although his cut looks to be at the top of the head, and it's just a clash. It's totally accidental. Happens in football, obviously. Both players appear all right in terms of just knowing their whereabouts, but a bit of blood for Sinclair's going to have to get looked at. He's made an impression since coming on, but well, none of the Sunderland players have quite found that pass, that final pass to create that good opportunity. And the one that they did for Maher at the end of that first half was that was accidental, really, because I think Maguire was going for goal and just happened to drag it across towards the far post, and that was not intentional, as both managers await the assessment of the medical staff, because both players are still getting treatment. Into the second half, it remains Sunderland 0, Charlton 1. Positive start to the second period for Sunderland, certainly in stark contrast to their effort in the first. But sadly for them, they're not quite creating the final ball to create that chance. Sinclair was thrown on at the break for O'Neill, and he's made an impression. He wants to get on the ball, he's having a run at defenders, he's just not quite figuring in the final third. So Phillips is remaining pretty unchallenged. There's been a stoppage in play, though, as a clash of heads between Sinclair and Solly has led to some time out, but Charlton have offered nothing in this second half after dominating the first. It has been all Sunderland with no threat of an equaliser as yet. It's Sunderland 0, Charlton 1.
Yeah, and well, I think Lee Bowyer half wanted to make a substitution, but Solly not having it, just talking to the referee there. Got a cut on the top of his head. I think he'll be strapped up and back on. Now considering making a change, it looks like there's plenty of claret there actually from Solly's point of view. Did take a real whack. Like I say, he didn't seem too keen on going off. And there's also a question of who might come on. We may need a bit of a reshuffle, just a shortage of numbers really for Charlton really on Tyneside this afternoon. As things stand, it's job done, leading 1-0. Sunderland are coming into the game, but no real clear-cut chances.
Yeah, Sinclair actually went off the field earlier than Solly, so maybe they've dealt with that situation a little bit better or more easily than Solly's problems. A long ball downfield, back header from Louvens. Taylor was giving chase, as he has done throughout the game, and just about reached McLaughlin before Taylor could get there, although that's given away by Matthews, and Sunderland have 1 or 2 players out of position. Bringing it forward is Arebo, waits for support, eventually comes from Pratley. Now to Taylor on the edge of the box, where it's the nice little 1-2, forced the fraction wide, low ball in towards the near post. Louvens takes no chances, puts it behind for a corner. There's only 1 man into the box to aim for. But I suppose good, sensible defending you're not sure, just deal with it and worry about the set piece later on. But perhaps didn't get a shout either. He doesn't know what's behind him. It's, as I say, just sensible defending.
Yeah, lack of communication is a problem for Sunderland, but like you say, did the right thing there, Lubens. If in doubt, get the ball out, and corner kick for Charlton, so Solly comes on. Terry Butcher, of course, is always the one that people think of, but just thinking Charlton, they're taking the time over this, and maybe there's a bit of fatigue creeping in for them.
Yeah, Solly back on the pitch. I'm assuming Sinclair is as well, as the cross is behind everybody. It's landed beyond the penalty spot and cleared away by Mahab towards the halfway line, but there's no Sunderland players down there, so it's pumped back in. Taylor is challenging. Is he offside? No, the linesman has kept his flag down. Lubens then clips it out down the left-hand side. It looked to just flick the leg of Lapsley. I thought for a moment the referee wasn't going to give throw-in to Sunderland because Lubens went after the linesman, but the decision has gone with the Black Cat, so it's their throw-in as Oviedo gets the ball back and then feeds it out to the right-hand side. Bit of space for Matthews, who's got Gooch hogging the touchline. He's only just on the halfway line, so waiting for some support. Maguire made a run, it's not fed. Sunderland trying to be at least patient, and Maguire's now picked it up. He's been pushed and harried by Pratley. Eventually, the referee feels there's no advantage, then takes a quick free kick, which absolutely gets a challenge in, but his tackle goes to Luvens. Just wonder if Sunderland is trying to play a little bit too much football rather than the percentage game. Don't really want to not find a target with a free kick on the halfway line, unless it's further downfield. But Sunderland still have possession. Öztürk plays it down the channel, asking an awful lot for Mahan, and he's done really well to keep it in. And that forces Solly into making a challenge. So Mahan's worked really hard to just keep that ball alive. It wasn't a particularly good one from Öztürk. But the throw in for the Black Cats right on the corner flag left-hand side. A chance to build. Throw-in is behind Mumba, but just wrong foots Lapsley for a moment. He's still jinking one way then the other. Passing field to Honeyman. Now forward towards Mahat. Cross to Maguire, who turns, fakes a shot from 25 yards out on his right, goes for it on his left, but drags it wide of the far post, and that will just be a goal kick. But probably the first shot, certainly for Sunderland in the second half.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Maguire, I think he needs to get a bit more involved again. He's probably the one with that extra bit of quality as Jerome Sinclair finally makes it back. It's almost like rugby there. He went up for a head. Concussion inspection, and seems to be all right. Charlton just getting deeper and deeper. I think Lee Bowyer might be growing a bit concerned the way they're playing at the moment. But the Addicts are coming forward.
Yeah, Page off in the width down the left-hand side. Early ball in towards the near post too. Beyond that, but again, Luvens takes charge, clears it away. This time for a throw-in, 10 yards or so from the corner flag, and presumably Page will just wait for the ball to come and take it himself. Indeed he does. He's waiting for options. Charlton, arguably, as Jack pointed out, might just be slowing things down a little bit when they get the opportunity. Clever feet from Aribo. He's left two behind him. Left-footed crosses over hit, and I think it's gone behind for a goal kick anyway. Lovely skills to get into the position, and then a poor cross.
Yeah, I think him and Pratley need to get a bit more of control on the game. They were very good in the opening 10, 20, 20 minutes or so, weren't they? But they've not touched the ball. And, well, Sunderland are playing out from the back. And you mentioned percentages earlier. Maybe, I think League One football is all about playing the percentages and then just having a bit of quality in the final third. But they're playing themselves into a bit of trouble at times, are Sunderland, and maybe their own worst enemy. But there is certainly something in the game for them.
Yeah, and Sunderland seen a lot more ball inside the opposing half than they did in the first half in its entirety. They did finish that first half well, and they've taken that momentum into the second as Honeyman drives into the box, eventually just crowded out. He's working really hard to try and keep it alive, but it just ended up running into a little bit of a blind alley. Might have just taken up a knock as well. He's not appearing to appeal for any kind of penalty or anything. Somebody might have just landed on his ankle. Oh, looking at a replay, he got a fairly hefty chunk. Marshall it was, who just clipped his heel.
Yeah, I think another referee on another day may have taken a dimmer view on that. Like you say, caught his heel, but nothing coming in from it. Honeyman's had a quiet game in the other part. The skipper for the Black Cats Academy product needs to get a bit more involved, because when he does get the ball, he does seem to have a bit of extra quality.
Here come Sunderland again. I mean, Charlton aren't making anything stick, and there's an opportunity. Maher, 25 yards out, he thought about the shot, still comes out to Oviedo, a deflected pass. And there's a right-footed effort from Oviedo, obviously a stronger on his left. I suppose it was heading towards the target, but it was blocked away, and it will just be a corner. They're just looking more threatening than they were in the first half, albeit still not finding that final pass. But willing runners and a bit of energy about them at the moment, as the corner comes in towards the near post, headed clear, then further clear by Rebo. Picking up the loose ball is now Hired Grant, leading a one-man counter attack. They just overran it, I think, yes, and so that will be brought back for a throw into Sunderland, only 10 or so yards inside their own half. Well, this is a real contrast to that first period. And I suppose, given the way it is such a contrast, you've mentioned numbers, but maybe Lee Bowyer should think about changing something.
Well, I was just looking at the bench there, and it's the lack of numbers, isn't it? They've got Nabi Sarr, experienced defender, but not really a lot else as far as options go. Nicky Iose could come up, and I think Nicky Iose might be a man to bring on, actually. Strikers, so give them a bit of extra legs up front, but from that, the all youngsters in reserve as Aya goes for a shot. Oh, what a goal! It's out of nowhere really. It's Josh Meyer with the goal for Sunderland. He just turned, I think he caught Phillips totally out there. It was good play on the left angle of the box. He just spins, turns, shoots and scores, and that's about it. Great goal, 1-1.
Yeah, slightly miscued attempted clearance, but nobody closed him down. I've got to put that down as a keeper error. Low dribbler, he's near post. Yeah,
he's got to do better there, hasn't he, Phillips? It's a well-struck effort, but Phillips almost goes down, stops, and then starts again, doesn't he? It's in instalments, as they say. A good strike by Sunderland, real lifeline, 1-1.
Second half just got better for Sunderland. They have been the better of the two sides in this period without creating an awful lot in the final third, but they have got themselves an equaliser. A little bit out of nothing, really. Ball into the box, Meyer picked it up, back to goal, but for some reason Charlton allowed him to turn. Picked his spot just from the edge, the left edge of the D, low towards the near post. It's a shot you'd expect Phillips to make the save full, but he didn't. It's beating him inside that near post, and Sunderland are back on terms. Charlton have offered nothing in this second half, and now they're going to have to dig deep because all the ascendancy is with the home side. It's Sunderland 1, Charlton 1.
Yes, a real lifeline. Great play by Meyer, who's worked hard throughout the game. Not had too many chances, and he made his own there, and well played by him, 1-0. And the pressure's now on Charlton. Sunderland haven't got the greatest records in their opening games at home, but you feel the chance might be there for them to go and get something now, just to fill you in. 2 more fixtures on this service this afternoon for the Championship at 3 o'clock. Ipswich taking on Blackburn. Then from the second tier again at 5:30, it's Sheffield United against Swansea. Community Shield action tomorrow, of course, too. But, maybe that'll spark Charlton into life a bit. Oh, Matthews almost caught out by Lyle Taylor. Got away with it, though, but, someone got the tails up.
Yeah, and here they come again. They're certainly finding more space in the Charlton half as Honeyman just tries to tease it through to Sinclair. A little bit too close to Pearce, though. Just hooks it away into touch for a throw into for hosts. 20 yards from goal, which they've taken quickly. And nobody's really closing down Matthews. Tim Maguire, now Gooch. There's a thick amount of run against 2 defenders, jinks his way towards the byline, still doesn't dig out across, still has it, then lays it off to Matthews, fires a ball deep towards the far post, punched away by Phillips, picked up by Oviedo, just on the edge of the box, little back heel into the box and still reaches its target. Then it's played out to the left-hand side, and I don't think Honeyman was expecting it and didn't react, and it's gone out of play for a throw into Charlton. But they need some kind of respite how dangerous Taylor and Ahern Grant were in the first half. We've barely seen them in the second.
Yeah, I think you've got to bring Nicky Ayosi on just to give them a bit of fresh legs. Just seeing now the possession stats, last 10 minutes, Sunderland 67% to Charlton's 33. It's only going one way at the moment. The Black Cats well and truly on top.
Yeah, but here is a chance for Prattley to bring it forward for Charlton. There's a Sunderland player down in back play, but I don't think the referee felt there was a foul, and he has just got up, in fact. It was Maguire, although Charlton with their passing went into their own half anyway. To Pearce, infield to Bauer. Low up towards the feet of Ahern Grant, who finds Solly in support right hand side with a bit of space, bringing it forward, fully bandaged as well. A little chip ball into the box towards Ahern Grant, and it's just asking a fraction too much, slightly too much weight behind it. Ahern Grant appeared to be arcing his run to try and stay on side, but then couldn't adjust, and that's going to be behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just a bit too much. You feel that, Ahern Grant seems to run his race now. Neither him nor Taylor have really threatened too much, having looked really dangerous. Jack Ross deep in conversation with his assistants about a final change, whereas there doesn't seem to be any sort of activity on the Charlton bench.
Yes, strange one really, but first game of the season, numbers are short. For whatever reason, there's a slightly misjudged header from Marshall. Will give Sunderland a throw inside the Charlton half. Left-hand side, and all of a sudden the Sunderland fans are in full voice. We've mentioned a pretty awful home record over the last number of seasons, really. I suppose you might excuse it in the Premier League for a side that's not blessed with talent, but then dropping down a division and still not winning many games is obviously not fantastic. They want to have a much better home record in this division as they look to get back up to the Championship at the end of the season. Mahaz just trod on really by Solly, and that'll be a free kick to Sunderland, only just inside the Charlton half. But we've got a quarter of the game left. It's anybody's at the moment, one apiece, but it's Sunderland who are on top. Here's Jack.
Yeah, cheers, Rob. You gotta say, if you can get a bit of momentum at home, 31,000 fans at the Stadium of Light, according to the official figures. Not quite, I think it'll be there or thereabouts. Few empty seats, but if you can get those fans coming through the door, it could be a great place to be. On the Weir side here is Ozturk, who thought he'd bitten off a bit more than he could chew there, and then in fact he did. His pass was fired in at the waist of Oviedo, and bounced out for a throw-in on the near side. As we look at our TV pictures, Chris Solly wants the ball for a throw-in. Doesn't seem to have been affected by that clash of heads with Jerome Sinclair. Both managers in the technical areas barking out the orders as it goes into the Sunderland half. Charlton in possession, but it's Ahern Grant wanted a foul, but it wasn't to be, and then given away by the young man Mumba. Here is Solly. He looks like a class apart when he's on the ball. Helped for by Lapsley, and then bounced it. Really scrappy bit of play this. Maguire's given it away. Lapsley displays it through to Ahern Grant, who's going to have his work cut out, and again, not for the first time, the ball seems to be just too strong every time. Both Sunderland and Charlton have been guilty of maybe just being a bit careless going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Charlton need to be so necessarily precise, because I don't think there's much pace at the back for Sunderland. I mean, Louvens and Ozturk, to me, they look pretty slow, in fact. I think as a two, Pearce and Bauer, just pace-wise, are a lot quicker. And sometimes I think Ozturk gets a little bit too tight. We saw Grant wanted a free kick last one. I do think he's almost, grabbing the striker as he tries to mark him. I think he gets very tight. And I thought that was exploited by Charlton in the first half, but not so much in the second.
Yeah, good run by Lau. Taylor comes inside Matthews. Tries to play it back to Marshall. Marshall's got no chance there. Oviedo cleverly, well, I thought he'd won a free kick there, but it'll be a corner kick. Just looking at the way, you can see that Louvens and Ozturk don't fancy themselves on a foot race against either Ahern Grant or Taylor, because they keep dragging Matthews into cover, don't they? Here is a corner kick then, on the near side, to be taken by Marshall. In-swinger with his left foot. Bauer's up, so is Jason Pearce. Rebo as well. They're all 6-footers. And unfortunately, the ball doesn't beat the first man, but it's a poor clearance. And Matt Marshall is going to get a second chance. No, it's going to be a throw-in. Taylor can't quite believe it. Breathing heavily, as you'd expect, first day of the season. And, well, they're having a bit of trouble getting the ball back at the moment from the fans at the Stadium of Light. Marshall will be the man to take it. Solly's offering feet, but instead goes to Aribo. He gives it away. And, well, it's poorly cleared by Ozturk. Not been the best debut. And headed away by Oviedo on the near side. And out for a throw-in. Mark Marshall will be the man to take it again. Looking for options back. No one seems to want it at the moment. 20 minutes including stoppage time to find a winner for either of these sides. Was Lapsley fouled there? No, Leuven's again sweeping up, but his clearance just puts Oviedo in more trouble. And Marshall, I thought he won the strength war between the pair, but no, he's gone out for a throw-in. And, well, he's taken quickly to Maguire, who's got all sorts of trouble on his hands here. And inevitably, Sunderland, not playing the percentages, comes off Meyer, out for a throw-in. And, well, yeah, I think you got to applaud their ambition playing from the back, but do they have the personnel to do it? I'm not quite sure. Here is Marshall into the box, wrong side of Oviedo, but Oviedo does well out for a throw-in. But there's been 3 or 4 occasions in the last 5 minutes or so when they've tried to play out from the back. It's just not working.
Yeah, it's like what it was in the first half. I don't know whether Charlton were just trying to see out the game at 1-0, but now that it's back on terms, all of a sudden they're pressing high up the pitch. And, Sunderland aren't finding that easy ball to get downfield. Like you, I don't think they've quite got the players to play this football, particularly under pressure. Another set piece for Charlton.
Yeah, ball into box, heads go up is Bauer, but his effort's off target, dribbling past the right-hand upright. Different approach there, Mark Marshall taking it, but this time with his right foot, obviously feels he can float them in with his right, curled them in with his left. And, well, Bauer was always going away from goal. It was a long way out on the penalty spot as well, and a bit comfortable in the end. Set piece, though, could be the difference between these two sides. Sunderland coming forwards. Gooch into the feet of the goal scorer Meyer. He's got Maguire and Honeyman, and now the young man Mumba. Oviedo wide on the left-hand side, into the feet of Jerome Sinclair. Turns nicely. He's got a nice touch to Sinclair. Into Maguire. Honeyman again, back to Maguire. Maguire left centre of the pitch. No real options going forward, and wasn't the best ball to Honeyman, and Matthews has to rescue it. Poor really by Sunderland, but Honeyman will have it again, 40 yards from the Charlton goal. Gooch turns his man. Page is sticking to him though, but Gooch is still going and goes down, and Page, of course, on the yellow card, needs to be careful. But nothing more from referee Brooks. But a good shooting opportunity here for Sunderland. Suits a left footer nicely, just the right edge of the box. Yeah, clear foul by Page, and well, he must be walking a bit of a tightrope as things stand. Is it going to be a shot from Maguire? Maybe just a touch far out, but he's putting the ball down with some purpose. He's the only man stood around it as well, so that suggests he is taking control of the situation, the recent arrival.
Yeah, they haven't sent either the centre-backs up either, have they? So this could well be a crack at goal. You'd be tempted to load the box a little bit, just in case. It keeps the keeper occupied. Yeah, he does go for goal. It's a good save as well. Wouldn't you expect him to make, but he did well to get to his left-hand side there. Phillips. Yeah, set pieces have been the real trouble for Charlton, really. We'll get Rob's thoughts in a second as Gooch on the right-hand side. Ball into box is a good one. Myers there, heads go up, and it's a save by Phillips. The young striker was the man with the header towards goal. It was straight out the goalkeeper, but earlier on, Maguire with the free kick. A decent effort, but what do you expect the goalkeeper to make? Yeah, I mean, he get it across, it's such a way out, and he was pretty much in the middle of the goal. It's one of those, it's a nice height. If it'd been higher, if it'd been lower, it might be a problem, but it's because it's right-footed, it's coming into the keeper. Another day he might have caught it, but and again, it's from the follow-up, that's not a bad leap in the air from May. He's not the tallest. He wasn't winning much in the air in the first half, but in the second half he's had a couple of headers, admittedly not really threatening an equaliser, but he's certainly causing problems in the air.
Yes, as Taylor falls out with a teammate. It's not had the best attitude in this second half. His ball was behind Page, but he was determined to blame the Charlton number 3. It's 12.5 minutes or so left of the 90. 1-1. It's independent off-tube studio commentary clash between Sunderland and Charlton. Maybe just a bit of a deep breath before a brilliant finale, hopefully.
Time running out for a winner in this one. A little bit of time. Sunderland still remain the more threatening of the two. Bauer did have a header from a corner, which perhaps he could have done better with. Wasn't under too much pressure, but Sunderland have also had chances as well. Maguire with a free kick, 25 yards out. Decent strike, palmed away in the end by Phillips. Perhaps could have caught it, but made it look good at least. And just after that, Gooch down the right, cross in. Maher beat 2 in the air to get a header at goal, but he couldn't generate the power. And it's a much more comfortable save. But a more even contest perhaps since the goal. Charlton at least threatening to come forward. But at the moment, it's a stalemate. Sunderland 1, Charlton 1.
Maguire goes down, trying to win his side a free kick, but been a bit of a rich one, you feel. Pratley had him all the way. Long clearance upfield by Phillips. Only onto the head though of Louvens, who's I think shown the Sunderland fans what they're going to get from him today. Wins everything in the air, sweeps up nicely. May have a few issues against any genuine pace, but he's long enough in the tooth, shall we say, to be able to cover himself. I'm not as sure about. I have to say, he looked a bit shaky on his debut for the Black Cats, but it's a bit of pedigree. Played at Hearts, probably his best football, so knows his way about as Maguire plays it to Gooch. Gooch's left-footed ball into a decent one over everybody, and there was Barley Mumber at the back post trying to make something of that. Diving header from the teenager, but over him in the end. Brian Oviedo was... it's funny, isn't it, when you look at players who played at a higher level, where, as Oviedo has, he was screaming for the ball on the edge of the box, and whereas Mumba was... Everyone was running towards the running towards the goal. Oviedo was giving himself time, so if it comes to him, he's got time to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he's not wanting necessarily to go into the mixer, as it were. But again, we've seen it a few times in this game. Balls into the box by positions. I wouldn't say Charlton are the most aggressive defending them, so there are opportunities there, but for long periods, crosses into the box haven't been fantastic. That's the problem. But I've got to give Sunderland a bit of credit. I thought they were pretty ordinary in the first half. Maybe that encouragement they got right at the end set up this second half, but they wanted it more than Charlton for me. And I don't know why Charlton have played a different game. Since the equaliser, I think they've attacked a little bit more. They weren't really attacking at 1-0 up, but it's certainly more of a game. Solly picks up a yellow card, just bringing down, I think that was Sinclair.
Yeah, had a couple of bites of the cherry, didn't he, there, Solly? I think it was Lapsley with a real foul, but I think the referee was waiting for it from the 27-year-old fullback. The fourth man to go into the book by my count.
Yeah, 3 of the Charlton back 4 as well.
Yeah, so, well, I don't think they've got many players to bring on, have they, if they're going to make a change in that area still to make a substitution. Lee Bowyer, like I mentioned, they've only got 5 subs this afternoon. And with 8.5 minutes or so left of the 90, they're going to try and hold the fort. Yeah, like you say, it's odd, isn't it? Whereas Pearce and Bauer, 6-2, 6-3, neither of them really attacked the ball. The only person who's won a header was really Chris Solly, who's got to be 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, and he's got a bandage for his troubles. But, I mean, sometimes, obviously, the crossing hasn't been great, and nobody's challenged for anything. But I was thinking a couple of instances in the first half, and then this is when Sunderland were pretty ordinary. That's good work from Sinclair, forcing... Pearce to put the ball behind, show good strength there. Sinclair and his side do have a corner, so we're going to see how Charlton attack this one. I just wonder if it's fitness as a thing, because I thought they were very good for 40 minutes, Charlton. Much the better of the two sides, but it's been changing since just before half-time.
Yeah, and you can play pre-season games, but nothing really prepares you for the intensity of league football, does it? Gooch stinks towards the penalty spot. Louvens is there. That was the header this time by Pearce. After the criticism we're just giving him, did attack the ball and did a good job of it. But it was Solly who made the clearance. Someone coming on strong here. It's Matthews, Gooch, little jink inside, tries to cross it. Lapsley gets the blocking, but back to Gooch. Louvens making his way back. So is Ozturk, but Brian Oviedo takes over, central position, wants a runner out wide, he's got one as well. Sinclair, he's looked good since coming on at the break, the man on loan from Watford, opens up, gets a shot away, he's blocked by Aribo. Actually wins it on the seconds, but, well, it's all Sunderland at the moment. Here is Maguire on the far side as we look at it on our screen. Matthews, central ball, finds Ozturk, who hesitated somewhat. Eventually went back to Leuven's, and that just took a bit of a sting out of the move. Here is Matthews now. Gooch into the feet of Meyer, who's dropped short. He's going to Gooch again, while on the left-hand side. Maguire wants it centrally, but Gooch will go back to Matthews. And, well, it's patient build-up, recycling the ball, but not really going anywhere at the moment. Here is Maguire on the wide right-hand side, ball into the box, looking for Sinclair. It's over everyone. He comes to Oviedo, gets shot away. Oh, it bounced around. I think it was Sinclair in the middle of the box. Despairing lunge towards the ball. Just couldn't get the contact he wanted.
Yeah, and he's got his head in his hands. I know he's stretching, he's thrown himself at it, but he obviously thinks he could have done a little bit better, and I wouldn't disagree with him, to be honest. I thought it was decent play from Sunderland all round. For a moment, you just wondered where that incisiveness was going to come, but it's just essentially keeping a wide attack. It's someone who's hugging the touchline. It just stretched the defence. It's a decent ball in. We saw it a couple of minutes ago. Oviedo's in space, so he's then got time and space. He's hit it low towards the near post. I don't think he's for going for goal. He's picked out his man, and yeah, I think that's a decent chance.
Yeah, it was, maybe if he'd been a yard further back, I think he would have scored there. It's the wrong side, and an awkward one as well for a right footer. Sinclair goes forward, but Solly's got his number, and Solly can clear his lines as well. And looking for Ahern Grant. Taylor's totally run out of legs now, you feel. Ahern Grant's still chasing, but Taylor's not really offered anything in this second 45. 5 minutes left of this League One opening day fixture. I think Bowyer's taking a bit of time there by not letting the ball back into play. Jack Ross, I think, will take plenty of positives from this game. Slow start, they were second best really for the first 40 minutes, like you say, Rob, but then Charlton just ran out of legs, and really, if there was going to be a winner now, famous last words, of course, but it looks like Sunderland, but Jerome Sinclair passes it straight to Ahern Grant. Now it's Taylor inside left position, plays it over the top for Lapsley, but it's a shocking ball by the Charlton number 9, who the way Charlton are going, I think even just to kill time, take Taylor off, because he's not offering anything.
No, I mean, he's tried. I mean, it would have been a difficult ball to get right. It's not an easy pass, particularly playing it sort of a reverse pass, but he's got to get the weight, the elevation, etc., and he didn't. And I think that's one just to look good. He's not affecting anything there. Like you say, he's not testing the back four, his pace, we're not seeing it, not seeing his strength that we did in the first half. Yeah, he's a bit of a passenger as Sunderland try and come down the right-hand side, but that's good defending again, this time from Pearce, put it behind. The referee fell. Is that Gooch that just left the boot in there, realising he's going to be second best, and that's going to be a yellow card. Now, I think that's harsh, but do you perhaps disagree?
Yeah, I think we'll see it again. I think he caught Pearce, maybe. Yeah, well, I think he's trying to block the ball, isn't he? Like you say, he's just seeing it again. Gets past his man, good skill, and, well, it's a foot up, and it's a foot up, and he's trying to anticipate the ball, but he's also anticipating his foot, I think, as well. So, yeah, yellow card for me.
Yeah, and perhaps show my age with that one, but yeah, I mean, again, it's Sunderland looking slightly more dangerous. Time very much almost up, rather, at the Stadium of Light. It's still one apiece, but Sunderland have just missed a very good chance to have snatched perhaps the 3 points. They appear to be going nowhere with patient midfield play. Eventually, space was created for Gooch's right-hand side. It was a deep ball in, too deep, but Oviedo kept it alive. He picked his spot. It was a low ball in towards the near post, 6 yards box, and Sinclair sliding in, unchallenged really, couldn't hit the target. Certainly the best chance since their equaliser, which came almost out of nothing. Unfortunately for Charlton, they're not threatening a winner. It appears to be whether they can hold on. But time almost up. Sunderland 1, Charlton 1.
He looks in big trouble here, actually. Does Pearce? They're calling for the stretch, but it's his think it's his right leg rather than his left leg, which was the one that was caught. There looks all very awkward now. It's his left knee. Pierce just looking at the bench. I think it'll have to be, Sarr who will come on. The French defender. And the slot back into the defence. But, well, I think it may be a stretcher job for Pierce, who doesn't look happy at all. He's taken the captain's armband off him already. And have a bit of stoppage time as well.
Well, given their numbers, this could be a worry for games coming up. Not playing until next Saturday, but then of course thick and fast, Tuesday, Saturday. But it's a week off. Obviously, you hope he's not right. I didn't even think it was a yellow card, but there you go. 90 seconds left. There will be a bit of added time. It's one of those, it's a cliche, isn't it? So it's been a game of two halves, but in terms of actual chances, there haven't been that many, and maybe 1-1 is a fair reflection.
Yeah, I think 1-1 is a fair reflection. Like, Charlton were far superior in the opening third of the game, but Sunderland have been a better team since then, but lacking any real sort of penetration, really. Naby Sarr, the man who has come on, wearing the number 23, former Sporting Lisbon and Lyon man, Marseille-born central defender, French under-21 international. So some pedigree, but not always had his own way at the Valley. As long ball forward by Phillips, the goalkeeper. It's headed down by Ozturk, and then Solly's in there, and then Luvens, loose touch by him, a nice skill actually to get away from Taylor, but only gives it away to Darren Pratley. Pratley will work it wide to Pace. Pratley continues his run, but the ball's got too much on it. Matthews, the man who picks up the pieces, then Gooch fouled by an overzealous Pratley. It's a case now of all eyes on the fourth official, because we're going to need to find out how much we've got left. Good news is that Jason Pearce, well, he has been substituted, is walking off round the pitch, which is normally a good sign, because they did initially call for the stretcher. 6 minutes have been added on Wearside, on what looks like a lovely afternoon actually in Sunderland. Perfect conditions to be playing football. It's even like the local football gets underway this afternoon, doesn't it? So old days of yore and all that kind of stuff. There's Aribo, ball forward. Here is Ahern Grant. Taylor's trying to make a run for him in the centre, but Ahern Grant's done well, and he's going to win his side a throw, and he was just dribbling out by the corner flag. Wasn't quite sure which side it was going to end on, and maybe the break has done Charlton some good. Into the feet of Page. I'll try and get it onto his favoured left foot. Gooch does well, and it bounces out for a corner kick. And after all the praise we've been giving Sunderland, really, it's Charlton who've headed into stoppage time with a bit of extra oomph.
Yeah, again, maybe they found a second win. There's a bit of pace shown down that left-hand side. Now Marshall's taking charge again. It's going to be a right footer. He's switch fate depending on what he actually wants from a set piece.
Yes, and it's Bauer who wins it and booted away by Matthews at the near post. Solly back to Marshall. I think was probably offside, and wisely just leaves it to go out. So it's a throw into Sunderland in their own right back area. Maguire thinks about taking it quickly, but maybe a case of calming things down, playing the percentages. That's a foul by Sarr, his first input on the new man. Jerome Sinclair's down on the ground, obviously got an injury, but Jack Ross will be urging him to get up, because it's their time they're playing with. And they do have a change left, don't they, Sunderland? Well, Sinclair looks to be in some discomfort here. I think probably a calf injury by the looks of things.
Well, the fact he had his head in his hands, just sitting up there, and a sheer look of sheer disappointment suggests he's not going to be able to continue. And of course, he didn't start this game, so that'll be an early setback. You don't want it at the best of times, let alone the first game of the season. So that is a change that's been forced on them. I thought he had Luke Molyneux's coming on to replace him. I thought he had a decent start, when he came on. Obviously, Charlton have got to grips with him, and his impact has grown less, but he was at least a threat. And maybe that's something that Jack Ross will think about going forward, because with Maher and Sinclair together, they just looked like, they've got something going forward. They didn't in the first half when it was just Maher.
Yeah, Sinclair looks like he's got something about him, doesn't he? And maybe just lacking a bit of game time over the last 12 months, first team football-wise, and a move to League One and a club like Sunderland, where the fans will be rooting for him every week, all those kind of things, get plenty of opportunities, is exactly what he needs. Bauer's free kick is aimless and just goes out for a goal kick. Quite poor, really, by the German. Are we going to get one final chance, both 3.5 and 6 added on minutes? McLaughlin plays it to Louvens, who was suspiciously inside his own area when he collected the ball, but referee not interested. Ballymumba will find Oviedo on the halfway line. Oviedo's introductions really helped Sunderland, I think. He started with Donald Love as a right back. Unfortunately, he was injured. That meant Adam Matthews could switch sides. Natural right footer on the right and a natural left footer with Oviedo coming on, and it's given the team a bit more balance. Here is Lyndon Gooch, always dangerous, gets his head down into the box, shots deflected, out for a corner kick, and Sunderland have got an opportunity now. In fact, there was a new man, Luke Molyneux, getting himself involved straight away. Needs a good delivery from Maguire. His set pieces haven't always been the best in this game, but both Ozturk and Louvens have looked dangerous from set pieces. Ball in again, it's a poor one, doesn't beat the first man, Solly, and then Honeyman's header back to Maguire. Gives him a bit of work to do, but he can cross it in with his left foot, doesn't beat the first man again. Tried a few little tricks from set pieces, but none of them have really come off. Here is Louvens. He'll find Ozturk, who'll get it out of his feet and play it inside to Oviedo, who goes to go his right foot, was deflected. An opportunity again for Sunderland from a corner kick.
Yeah, I think it's ambitious, the fact that he struck it from that kind of range, but it has won a corner. He's with his right foot as well, but he's 35 yards out. But the last corner, of course, moments ago, they didn't beat the first man. At least give somebody a chance to do something with it.
Yeah, this one's a training ground move. He came to Gooch on the edge of the box, but he eluded him. But that's a good ball in by Oviedo. Head goal for Sunderland. It's Gooch with the winner by all accounts. Great ball in by Oviedo. It's a poor corner kick initially from Maguire. Went under Gooch's foot. Oviedo kept going, played it into Gooch, who had the back post. No one picked him up. Fine header into the top corner, and it looks like the 3 points staying on Weir side.
Last gasp drama at the Stadium of Light, and it's Sunderland who appear to have got a winner in the 6th minute of 6 of added time. Initial corner was worked towards the edge of the box, looked to be a miscontrol from Gooch, the chance had gone, but Oviedo picked it up, drove forward, swung it to the far post, and Gooch, who had put his disappointment behind him, he ghosted in, really wanted the header. It was inch perfect from Oviedo, and a diving effort from Gooch gave Phillips absolutely no chance at all. Injury time just about up. Sunderland 2, Charlton 1.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking from a Charlton point of view, but they've only got themselves to blame. Gooch ran into about 5 yards of his own. No one picked the run up at all. He had plenty of the box to work in. Oh, you can't quite believe it. Played the 6 minutes. Are there going to be any opportunities now for Charlton, or is Jack Ross going to make a winning start to life at Sunderland? All eyes on the referee, official Brooks. And Gooch is down with a problem. Maybe picked up celebrating. John McLaughlin, I think, threw the ball out for throwing. Hamstring, maybe cramp, he's suggesting, Gooch. But again, this just adds to the time. Or waste time, depending on which way you look at it, I suppose. As the team news starts to come in from around the country. Football League games kicking off. Sunderland fans, something for them to cheer, which must be a rare thing.
Well, what was it? One home win in 6 years? I might have misread that, I don't know. But
that's on the opening weekend, not in general.
first game of the season, they win. And just the way that they've done it, because they were really poor for 40 minutes, but there's been only one team in it in the second half. So, credit to Jack Ross and his men. The score 6 minutes into injury time, they really wanted, particularly after the initial corner routine was botched up, but they still did it. I have to say, Charlton have just run out of steam.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they'll say it was off the training ground, that, because it worked out so perfectly. None of the Charlton players followed Gooch, and that is it. Gooch's goal makes a difference. A thrilling opening game in League One.
Right, so that's full time 2-1 Sunderland. I am going to be doing another stream in a minute. I'm going to end this one and do another one for all of the EFL games at 3 o'clock, and then later on today, Swansea v Sheffield United at 5:30. So thanks for watching this stream. We got 62 views as the most views in the stream, so thanks for that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in a minute for another stream.